Reproduction is a biological process by which new offspring individual organisms are produced from their parent. It is an essential feature of all known living organisms. Each individual organism exists as a result of reproduction. Let us learn reproduction in humans. After completing this digital learning module, learners will be able to explain the structure of male reproductive system, understand the structure of female reproductive system, explain the process of gametogenesis, understand the process of fertilization and implantation, explain pregnancy and embryonic development, understand the process of parturition and lactation. In humans, male reproductive system consists of primary sex organs, testes, located outside the abdominal cavity with a pouch called scrotum. Scrotum provides low temperature required for spermatogenesis. Each testis is about 4 to 5 centimeters in length and 2 to 3 centimeters in width. Each testis has about 250 compartments called testicular lobules. Each lobule contains 1 to 3 seminiferous tubules. Each seminiferous tubule is lined by male germ cells and Sertoli cells. A male germ cell undergoes meiosis and produces sperm. Sertoli cells provide nutrition to the germ cell. In between the seminiferous tubule, there is interstitial cell or Leydig cell. Leydig cells produce testicular hormones called androgen, testosterone. Rete testis. Seminiferous tubules open into vasa efferentia through rete testis. Vasa efferentia. The vasa efferentia leaves the testis and opens into epididymis. Epididymis. The epididymis leads to vas deferens that ascends to the abdomen through inguinal canal and loops over the urinary bladder. Vas deferens. Vas deferens receives a duct from seminal vesicle and opens into the urethra as the ejaculatory duct. Urethra. Urethra originates from the urinary bladder and extends through the penis to its external opening called urethral meatus. Accessory glands. Paired seminal vesicle, a prostate gland, paired bulbourethral gland. Secretions of these glands constitute the seminal plasma, rich in fructose, calcium and certain enzymes. Secretions of bulbourethral glands also help in lubrication of penis. External genitalia. Penis is the external genitalia in human males. It is made up of special erectile tissues that help in erection of the penis to facilitate insemination. The enlarged tip of the penis is called glans penis, covered by foreskin. In females, the reproductive system consists of primary sex organs, secondary sex organs, external genitalia, mammary glands. The primary sex organ is a pair of ovaries. Ovaries produce female gametes called ova, located in abdominal cavity. Each ovary is an almond-shaped body and about 2 to 4 centimeters in length, covered by a thin epithelium enclosing the ovarian stroma. Ovarian stroma is divided into 2 regions, peripheral cortex, inner medulla. Secondary sex organs. The duct system consisting of a pair of fallopian tube, a uterus, cervix and vagina. Oviducts, uterus and vagina constitute the female accessory duct. Fallopian tube. Each fallopian tube is about 10 to 12 centimeters long and extended to the uterus. It has a funnel-shaped infundibulum close to the ovary. Infundibulum possesses finger-like projections. Fimbriae. Fimbriae helps in collection of the ovum after ovulation. Infundibulum leads to ampulla, wider part of oviduct. Isthmus is last part of the oviduct that joins to uterus. Uterus. It is inverted and pear-shaped and also called womb. It opens in vagina through a narrow cervix. It is covered by three-layered wall: perimetrium, thin outermost layer; myometrium, thick middle layer; and endometrium, glandular innermost layer. External genitalia. Mons pubis. It is a cushion of fatty tissues covered by skin and pubic hair. Labia majora. Fleshy folds of tissues extending down from mons pubis, surrounding the vaginal opening. Labia minora. Paired folds of tissue under labia majora. Clitoris. Tiny finger-like structure which lies at the upper junction of the two labia minora above the urethral opening. Hymen, a membrane covering the opening of vagina partially. Mammary glands. Consists of glandular tissue and variable amount of fat. Glandular tissue divides into 15 to 20 mammary lobes. Each lobe contains clusters of cells called alveoli opening into mammary tubules. Mammary tubules join to form mammary duct. Mammary ducts join to form mammary ampulla connected to lactiferous duct. Milk secreted by cells of alveoli stored in the lumen of alveoli. Gametogenesis. The process of formation of gametes is called gametogenesis. It is of two types: spermatogenesis in males, oogenesis in females. Spermatogenesis. The process of formation of sperms in males is called spermatogenesis. The spermatogonia present on the inner wall of seminiferous tubules multiplies by mitotic division and forms primary spermatocyte. Then primary spermatocytes undergo meiosis and form two equal haploid secondary spermatocytes. Secondary spermatocytes undergo second meiotic division to form four haploid spermatids. Spermatids transform into spermatozoa sperms. It is called spermiogenesis. Sperm heads get embedded in Sertoli cells and are finally released from seminiferous tubules. This is known as spermiation. Hormonal control of spermatogenesis. Spermatogenesis initiated due to increase in secretion of gonadotropin-releasing hormone by hypothalamus. Increase in GnRH act on anterior pituitary and stimulate secretion of two gonadotropins, LH and FSH. LH acts on Leydig cells and stimulates them to secrete androgens. FSH acts on Sertoli cells, stimulates secretion of some factors which help in spermiogenesis. Structure of sperm. Sperm is composed of head, neck, middle piece and a tail.
It is enveloped within plasma membrane.
Head contains an elongated haploid nucleus, the anterior portion of which is covered by a cap-like structure, acrosome. Acrosome is filled with enzymes that help fertilization of ovum. The middle piece contains mitochondria, which provide energy for movement of tail that facilitates sperm motility. Sperms released from the seminiferous tubules are transported by the accessory ducts. On their way, fluids from seminal vesicle and prostate gland are added, which are collectively called as semen. Human male ejaculates 200 to 300 million sperms during coitus, of which 60% must have normal shape and size and 40% of them must show vigorous motility. Oogenesis. The process of formation of a mature female gamete is called oogenesis. Oogonia enter into prophase 1 of meiosis and forms primary oocytes. Each primary oocyte gets surrounded by a layer of granulosa cells and are called primary follicle, which gets surrounded by more layers of granulose and forms secondary follicle. Secondary follicle transforms into a tertiary follicle characterized by a fluid-filled cavity called antrum. The primary oocyte within the tertiary follicle grows in size and completes its first meiotic division. It results in unequal division, formation of large haploid secondary oocyte and tiny first polar body. The tertiary follicle changes into Graafian follicle. Secondary oocyte forms a new membrane called zona pellucida. Graafian follicle ruptures to release the secondary oocyte ovum from the ovary, which is called ovulation. The cyclic changes that occur in the reproductive organs of primate females is called menstrual cycle. The first menstruation begins at puberty, which is called menarche. Menstrual cycle repeats at an average interval of 28 to 29 days. Menstrual phase. It lasts for 3 to 5 days. It is due to breakdown of endometrial lining of uterus and its blood vessels. Menstruation only occurs if the released ovum is not fertilized. Follicular phase. Primary follicle becomes Graafian follicle. Endometrium is regenerated by proliferation of its cells. These changes are due to increased levels of FSH, LH, estrogen, etc. and estrogen. It lasts for 5 to 13 days. Ovulatory phase. Peak level of LH introduces rupture of mature Graafian follicle and release of ovum ovulation. Luteal phase. Ruptured follicle transforms into corpus luteum. It secretes large quantities of progesterone. In absence of fertilization, corpus luteum degenerates. This causes disintegration of endometrium, leading to menstruation. Menstrual cycle ceases around the age of 45 to 50 and is called menopause. The process of fusion of a sperm with an ovum is called fertilization. Acrosome of sperm secretes enzymes, helps in penetration into the ovum. When sperm comes in contact with the zona pellucida of ovum, it induces the changes in the membrane that blocks the entry of additional sperms. That ensures monospermy and prevents polyspermy. Only one sperm fertilizes with one ovum. Entry of sperm into the ovum induces the ovum to complete its second meiotic division of secondary oocyte. Meiosis II is also unequal cytokinesis, resulting in production of one large ovum, ooted, and one small second polar body. Haploid nucleus of sperm fused with the haploid nucleus of ovum to form a diploid zygote. Sex determination. Sex of a baby has been decided during fertilization and in the zygote. It is determined by the sex chromosomes present in gametes. Sperms produced by male, 50% with X and 50% with Y chromosome. After fertilization, the zygote either carries XX or XY chromosomes. Zygote with XX chromosomes develop into female and with XY chromosome develops into male. Cleavage. Repeated mitotic division of the zygote without growth resulting in a multicellular ball-like embryo is called cleavage. It starts after fertilization. Cells produced during cleavage are called blastomeres. 8 to 16 cell product is called morula that continues to divide and grow and transforms into blastocyst. The blastomeres in blastocyst are arranged into an outer layer called trophoblast and an inner group of cells attached to trophoblast are called inner cell mass. Trophoblast cells attached to the endometrium helps in development of placenta. Uterine cells divide rapidly and cover the blastocyst, and it gets completely embedded in the uterine endometrium. This is called implantation. Pregnancy and embryonic development. After implantation, temporary association between the fetal tissue, chorionic villi, and maternal tissue, uterine endometrium is called placenta. Functions of placenta. The embryo is connected to the placenta by umbilical cord, which transports substances to and from the embryo. It supports transportation of oxygen, carbon dioxide, and waste material. It acts as endocrine gland and produces several hormones. Embryonic development. After implantation, the inner cell mass of blastocyst is differentiated into an outer layer called ectoderm and an inner layer called endoderm. Mesoderm is differentiated between ectoderm and endoderm. The inner cell mass contains cells called stem cells having potency to produce all types of cells, tissues and organs by differentiation. Organogenesis. Pregnancy lasts for 9 months. Formation of different organs during these 9 months in the embryo is called organogenesis. After 1 month of pregnancy, heart is formed in the embryo. After 2 months, the fetus develops limbs and digits. By the end of 12 weeks, most of the organ systems are formed. In 5 months, movement of fetus and appearance of hair is observed. After 24 weeks, the body is covered with fine hair, eyelids separate and eyelashes are. After the period of pregnancy, gestation period, ejection of fetus is called parturition. It occurs due to vigorous contraction of uterine myometrium. Fully developed fetus originates signal to the placenta, which includes mild contraction of uterus called fetal ejection reflex. Additionally, oxytocin from pituitary is released that induces stronger contraction of uterine endometrium, which in turn stimulates further secretion of oxytocin. Stimulatory reflex between the uterine contraction and oxytocin secretion continues, resulting in stronger contractions and leads to expulsion. After delivery, the placenta is also expelled out of the uterus. Lactation. Mammary gland starts producing milk towards the end of the pregnancy. Process of milk production in mammary gland is called lactation. Colostrum is milk produced during initial few days of lactation. It contains several antibodies which provide immunity to the newborn baby.
Let us summarize what we have learnt.
Scrotum provides low temperature required for spermatogenesis. Each testis is about 4 to 5 centimeters in length and 2 to 3 centimeters in width. The epididymis leads to vas deferens that ascends to the abdomen through inguinal canal and loops over the urinary bladder. Urethra originates from the urinary bladder and extends through the penis to its external opening called urethral meatus. The penis is the external genitalia in human males. The primary sex organ in females is a pair of ovaries. Oviducts, uterus and vagina constitute the female accessory duct. Each fallopian tube is about 10 to 12 centimeters long and extends from the periphery of each ovary to the uterus. Mammary tubules join to form mammary duct. Mammary duct joins to form mammary ampulla, which is connected to lactiferous duct. Milk secreted by cells of alveoli are stored in the lumens of alveoli. The process of formation of sperms in males is called spermatogenesis. Sperm is composed of head, neck, middle piece and a tail. It is enveloped within plasma membrane. The process of formation of a mature female gamete is called oogenesis. The cyclic changes that occur in the reproductive organs of primate females is called menstrual cycle. The process of fusion of a sperm with an ovum is called fertilization. Sex of a baby has been decided during fertilization and in the zygote. Repeated mitotic division of the zygote without growth resulting in a multicellular ball-like embryo is called cleavage. Blastocyst gets completely embedded in the uterine endometrium. This is called implantation. After implantation, temporary association between the fetal tissue, chorionic villi, and maternal tissue, uterine endometrium is called placenta. Pregnancy lasts for 9 months. Formation of different organs during these 9 months in the embryo is called organogenesis. After the period of pregnancy, gestation period, ejection of fetus is called parturition. It occurs due to vigorous contraction of uterine myometrium. Mammary gland starts producing milk towards the end of the pregnancy. Process of milk production in mammary glands is called lactation.